jungle.
Yeah, that is very true, and I can't wait to see Method EU pop off. I wonder what that means if the last two games that they played weren't popping off already. So I guess they're going to be bringing their S tier gameplay that we have yet to see today. However, I think we are just taking a little bit of a delay timer heading into this because, as we know, Method EU, they played 2 very long series in a row. So I think you guys are definitely right. They're going to be a little bit. What's the word? I don't want to say like tired, but yeah, I mean it can't be easy coming off of 2 really difficult series like that, and then heading into this one against Horizon.
I like it.
All right, yeah,
talk
to me about this composition.
I'll talk to you about it. I mean, Method EU just played Rogue Mage Druid and they absolutely stomped. So I'm happy. Just
End
switch
of
it up.
sentence.
Play what you know.
Yeah.
There's a few different ways they can approach this matchup. They can try to play a composition they're not as good at and try to counter comp, or they can just throw caution to the wind, play what they're best at, try to outplay, try to create opportunities, force mistakes on Horizon and win. So we're seeing, I mean, basically the best composition Horizon has, their main composition versus Method EU, kind of their main composition in this Rogue Mage Druid. I mean, you could not ask for a better matchup going into these finals.
This is exactly what we want to see. And Waz, once again, going to be bringing it in on the sub rogue. Let's see if he can do it once again. It's been their ride or die with their backs against the wall. This has been what actually works for him. Look at Waz trying to eat the trap there potentially while he is in stuff, but now he is going to go absolutely crazy here onto Kasu. Big damage coming out here with the ring of fire. Big pressure coming out. Kasu immediately has to use his trinket, his battle master, his turtle, his exhilaration. He has nothing, and it's going to be up to Relza to either drop that barrier on the smoke bomb or potentially to free pain suppression it, because that next smoke bomb is going to be absolutely deadly coming out from Waz. It wasn't seen on the UI earlier, but he was running it, so I'm assuming that he's running it still. We can check that on the AWC companion.
This could be it.
But right now we got another setup. This could just be the game here. Relza's in a polymorph. You might need to trinket here into...
That's it. It's almost there.
Here. He's not trinketing, and that's going to be game number 1. Going in favor of Method EU in just a minute and 20 seconds here.
This is what I'm talking about. The Method EU, their crowd control looks great. Their damage looks great. Then you can kind of throw the enemy team off guard with this one. I don't think Horizon was expecting this. And I feel like we haven't seen, I don't want to say we haven't seen Rogue Mage in a while, but I feel like we haven't seen too many Subtlety Rogue Fire Mages in the AWC in quite some time, at least in Europe, I do believe, except maybe Method. But Horizon, they might not have the most practice against this composition. Just from start to finish, it just seemed like it was Method EU in the driver's seat. This first initial setup almost takes down Kasu, immediately goes down to 10% health. And then when we look at the final setup, I mean, that's going to be the most important moment. When we look at the final setup, Kasu, obviously, he's already traded out everything, so he has no way to keep himself alive. And Relza, it looks funny that he sits with the polymorph, but Waz still has blind. So Relza, if he doesn't trinket, he loses, and if he trinket, he loses. And at that point, I feel like unless you have like a major defensive cooldown, you can trade. You kind of gotta greet it and hope that you can survive in this polymorph. So you can see here, there's the full polymorph. If Relza trinkets, it's going to be an immediate blind. And Kasu basically has to do what he can to live, but obviously it's not enough, and Relza perhaps a little bit too late. Maybe he could have trinketed early. The only thing I could see is he trinkets early and pain suppresses and they live that go, but the next go then is just an absolute nightmare. So well done by Method EU. Now let's see if they can carry this momentum forward.
Okay, I think this is bad for Method EU because the last 2 series that they won, they lost the blind pick, and now they've won the blind pick. I don't know.
This is a bad omen.
Well,
it's a bad omen, exactly.
Yeah, winning. Yeah,
should have thrown.
You kind of mentioned it. So there's a couple of different ways. You mentioned it actually at the beginning of this game. Aya, you said something like, Method EU, maybe they're fatigued, maybe they're taxed. They've already played these grueling series. But there's another way to look at it, that they're warmed up. And they certainly look warmed up in that game number 1. Whereas Horizon, they haven't played today. They're not playing, world-class teams. And maybe they're getting some war games. And I don't know. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes. But Method EU for sure. They've had their reps in, got that communication dialed in, got their synergy ready to go. And Horizon's kind of playing catch-up at this point to try to, get that energy and that momentum up as well.
Yeah, it's very true. You saw, Waz rolling up the sleeves, getting ready for that game number 1, and they started off super strong in this series. It's best of 7 as well, as we've already mentioned. So they've had a long day and they've got a long series ahead of them. But I think you're absolutely right, Ven. They're going to be riding off that momentum, which I feel like makes a huge difference in these AWC games, Zico. You really see players when they're on those winning streaks kind of ride that out, but when they're in kind of a losing situation, it's harder for them to come out of that mentally.
Absolutely. And the thing is, for Horizon, well, they kind of live by the jungle and they kind of die by the jungle. And for them, once they run into one of those brick wall compositions that they just feel like they can't do anything against, they don't really have the most flexibility. Sure, they can bring in Galu, but if they're losing to sub the Fire Mage with the Hunter, chances are they're also going to be losing to that with like Feral Mage. So they don't really have much flexibility at all here, and it's going to come down to changing their covenants, changing their talents, changing their legendaries, things like that is the most flexibility that they have to work with. So for Method EU, if they can win another convincing game like that, that is just going to dampen the morale of Horizon, and that's really going to make them guess. And it's very, very quick. A series can just kind of spiral out of control and just go out of your hands. And that's exactly what's going to happen if Horizon can't bring it back here. So they're definitely taking their time, locking it in, thinking about exactly, okay, is there a way we could have prevented that opener from being that bad? Is there a way we could have avoided, the CC at the end? Should we swap off? Was there nothing we could do? That's the conversation that they're having right now. And let's see if they make the right choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they kind of do have that, working against them at the moment. Like, just to sort of recap, they are a jungle team. So if Method EU has figured out a way to beat them, do continue on this. They, like you already said, they don't really have anything to swap off of. And then on the other hand as well, they're kind of a newcomer to the scene. We don't typically see these guys up playing at this level. So if they're down bad and they're kind of not in the best of spirits, they don't have that experience to fall back on like Method EU might in situations like this. So hopefully they can recover from that game number 1 loss and put it behind them. And we'll see if they can catch up here in game number 2 on Runes of Lordaeron Sid.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing for Horizon is that they've been learning how to dampen. I feel like they're like one of the best dampeners in the game, which is weird because they're jungle, right? But that's how they've had to adapt is because the meta has shifted into this point where they needed to learn how to dampen. But Method EU are not playing to dampen as Rogue Mage Druid. They're playing to win. They're going for triple setups. So Horizon has to shift gears from that kind of just passive play where they're avoiding the fight and trying to get as much pressure out and figure out how to deal with these setups, because it seems really tough. You're going to have a mage blinking on your priest, his Dragon's Breath polymorph. You're going to have Waz kidney shot the Feral Druid into Cyclone from Chaz, and then the Hunter's going to get sheep shot 3 times. And it's going to be that every single time. And if you don't have an answer for it every single time, you're going to die. And it seems like if Method EU on paper play that situation out perfectly, that they could take this. Like, they could take this 4-0. And no one in the game plays this anymore. Like, Rogue Mage Druid, what year is it? I feel like I need a what year is it meme. Like, nobody plays this. So Horizon have 0 practice into this, at least as Druid. I would imagine it's got to be like close to 0 practice. Whereas Method EU are basically playing recently, like it's 2015, right? It's like Waz in WAD or something. Like, they know what they're doing as Rogue Mage still. Whereas Horizon are like, wait, you don't want to take this to 80% dampening? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do?
I want to just say this. To be fair to Horizon, they won like so many games. When they beat Method, they killed Waz in 10 seconds, 2 games in a row.
Yeah. So,
that's true.
I believe you. But yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely interesting how sort of the meta of jungle has changed quite a bit. They've always been sort of any jungle team has been that one comp team, and they've definitely just the composition as a whole has adjusted to being these really long drawn out games, whereas like previously, I mean, really not even that long ago, it was sort of these super explosive quick games. So I don't know, do you think that it's hard to revert back to playing in that sort of style then, Supatis?
Maybe
against
not.
Rogue Mage.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to figure out how they want to deal with these setups, right? Like, the first one felt really awkward. Like, they didn't know who should trinket, and then they waited too long. and then Casu had to use too many cooldowns. Then on the second attempt, it's like, should Tony trinket? I mean, Tony could trinket and maybe heal as well. How are they using their Roar Sacrifice? Is the Hunter pet getting stunned or something? Because Roar Sacrifice is supposed to be like the main point of defense for the Hunter against the Fire Mage. And it seemed like it didn't exist in that first game, so likely the pet is getting crowd controlled because Casu is just getting shredded most of the fight. Maybe they need to go after Mage when they play like this, so that Tony is closer to the Mage. Maybe like a trinket kick on the Poly is how they stop one of the goes. But the blind is always going to be a threat then. I was actually curious if Casu switched to survival to try and get more defense and durability. I'd have to check the talents. Was he running? I would imagine that he was running. He actually wasn't. So he could maybe pick up extra damage reduction for himself through his PvP talents. Like right now he's running the Chimeral Sting, which is great for getting an extra silence. But maybe the silence isn't necessary. Maybe more extra damage reduction on himself through the 10% damage reduction when his pet is nearby might be enough for him to survive one of the goes. And I think he must have been running he was running the Feign Death Legendary. But it just seems like Method EU, they've got a straightforward strategy. They're just executing on it, plays into the strengths of their team, even though this comp is literally unseen, especially with a Subtlety Rogue in competitive play, maybe even the ladder. I can't remember the last time I saw a Subtlety Fire Mage Druid on the ladder. It's probably years. They're breaking it out in the finale of this entire event and just running away with it. Like they're literally just running away through the whole bracket with this dusted off, like it's like an antique. It's like the Method EU Rogue Mage Druid. They're just dusting it off, and here you go. We still got this. Do you remember this?
Are you calling them old, Sid?
Maybe. I mean, they kind of are. I feel like it's been a couple of years. They're getting up there.
I mean, really though, if you think about it, we've really been able to watch a lot of these players, especially with Method, because they've been around for so long, grow up, and they're still together on this roster. They're still playing at that level that we're used to seeing them as. So I don't know. It is cool to see them sort of develop in that way, and now here they are in the finals, and we've got these young newcomers coming with a classic composition such as Jungle, and they are facing off against each other here in this best of 7 series. We're going to see in game number 2 if Horizon can tie this one up then.
Yeah, I mean, well, we definitely are. It's all going to be about Casu and Relza, how they decided to rotate the defensive cooldowns in game number 1. You could tell they were definitely caught off guard. It took 2 quick setups for them to get absolutely dusted. So Method EU right now, Tessia is going to be moving forward, and in Invis was sitting back as well. So kind of see who they decide to go after. What are they really waiting for? Waz doesn't want to get flared out. I kind of wonder why he's sitting back so much in the match. Tessia is going to be spamming out Flame Strikes, potentially trying to fish out the Hunter if he can. Maybe just doesn't want to wait. It doesn't want to open until Casu opens. So if Waz can get the jump there, that will give them a slight edge as they can do their setup a little bit sooner. So Casu actually is found, and this is an opportunity now for Method EU to strike.
Yep, let's see who are they going to strike after. It looks like most likely will be Casu here once again. They're poking off his shields here, and Waz is making his move. Chaz actually getting stunned up here. Tessia does not eat the trap right there. 3 ult times the stun though. Waz actually getting feared here on his opener. Nice counterspell though, snuck in onto Relza. Who are they going to go after? It looks like Waz wants to stun up Relza here. They pull the trigger, stunning up Tony, but they don't get the stun onto Relza here. And it looks like they won't even get the Cyclone here onto Tony either. So this setup not looking too clean, but now Dragon's Breath coming in. Tessia looking for the Sheep. They're looking for the Cyclone as well. And they don't find either. Casu going to be completely fine in this first setup here. Big change from that last game that we just saw these guys play. And so far, the jungle, they seem to have made some adaptations defensively as well as offensively. Now, looks like Relza might go for the fear. No, they go for the trap. Casu lands it. Dragon's Breath into Sheep. It's a 2-on-2 here, but Waz is feared into the disorienting roar. It's just Tessia by himself, and he's going to proc the cauterize here. Casu sends it in, but now they have an opportunity to counterattack onto Casu, and they get the trinket as well as the exhilaration there from Casu. So even exchange there across both sides, I would say.
Yeah, damage back and forth here between Method EU and Horizon. Casu makes an adaptation, going after General Draven Soulbind for more defense. And we'll have to see if that defense is enough. I mean, Method EU have massive damage, but at the moment, Horizon are leading the charge. A pre-Iron Bark on the trap here by Chaz. That was a nice defensive play. Tessia is taking 0 damage as a result. Now, Relza gets caught in a polymorph. This could be game over. Tony, what are you going to do? He's in a bash. He can't help out. Relza's trying to move in line of sight. Drops the barrier. With the polymorph breaking early, it looks like Chaz's adaptive swarm either jumped to Relza or he accidentally pressed it on Relza. It's going to break the polymorph that allowed them to survive without using a trinket for blind. Now Tessia on the back foot. Are they going to get a block here with 1 second left into a freezing trap? Triple fear. Chaz trinkets. And Nature's Swiftness is valuing the ice block of Tessia, but they're a trinket ahead now in this position. They're both evenly matched in terms of mana. Who is going to be able to close this game out? Tessia's moving in. Dragon's Breath. If he gets this polymorph and he trinkets into a full blind, it's game over. Ring of Fire being casted out. Tony, he's trying to avoid Cyclone and heal, but he's going to get caught into the Cyclone, and Casu is all alone, trying to get out of that Ring of Fire, managing to restabilize. Here comes Bestial Wrath. Frost Nova on all the pets by Tessia. Well-timed Frost Nova, trying to stabilize and recover. Ice blocks, that's all that's left for him. If he gets Mass Dispelled on it, it's going to be game over. Rels is moving in on top of him with a kidney shot on Tony. Tony can't get any pressure out. Waz with great peels onto the Feral Druid, preventing his push here as Chaz sits to the freeze jump, but now he gets fully cycloned. Master Spell around the corner on the ice block. I'm waiting for it from Relza here. They don't have enough damage. A defensive blind on Tony. Tony doesn't want to trinket, but will he regret it? How are they going to navigate this? They can't afford to throw right now. They're so far ahead. A full Ring of Frost. Relza deaths the Ring of Frost, moves into line of sight, and gets a big Rapture Radiance heal onto Casu, and they should be able to recover. And with that recovery, I think they can win on this next freezing trap.
It's definitely looking possible. Let's see what Waz can do to slow that down. Tony's got no trinket, so if he gets caught into a kidney shot on the go, he might be able to survive. A full trap, a full maim. Waz has to be the hero.
Block.
Can he save the day? Master Spell coming in. And now Tessia is still in a lot of trouble. He has his alter time, but the crowd control is not over. There is no cheat death. There's the kidney shot onto Tony with a cheap shot on Relza. They reverse the pressure onto Tony here. Can they take him down? It doesn't look like they're going to be able to, but beautiful exchanges by both these teams. Waz reversing the pressure there with his crowd control. Excellently done.
Yeah, and that's going to be what allowed them to actually stay alive. Even though they didn't get the kill onto Tony, they got a lot of his cooldowns, and they stay alive. And that's the thing. When you play that sub-rogue mage, you have to continuously do these setups. Otherwise, you are going to fall behind because you don't have the most sustained damage here. Here we go. Here comes the setup. Chest gets feared. It's down onto Relza. No sheep to be found here, unfortunately, from Tessia, but he pushes in. Dragon's Breath. He gets it. Sap onto Tony. 3-on-1 for Casu. Another sap onto Tony. And that is going to be the aspect of the turtle. The chain continues, though. Tessia has one more polymorph. Just looking for the Cyclone. It's a DR Cyclone, however, because of that Dragon's Breath. And it looks like Casu should be able to stabilize from this. The Waz still has a lot of damage for him, but now here comes the jungle. Big setup here onto Chaz. They got the full freezing trap. Tessia behind the corner here, trying to stay alive by himself. But he's just getting absolutely crushed. What an excellent alter time. Tessia here now blinking back. Gets the full sheep here, potentially. No, he gets kicked by Casu. Excellent sap here coming out once again from Waz as well. The kidney shot into the sap. Relza here with the spell, with the Thought Steal, trying to polymorph Tessia here so he can actually go for sheeps, but he can still do Ring of Frost. He's trying to land it and unsuccessfully. And now it appears to be Horizon's turn to get aggressive, Sid.
Yeah, they're going for the kill here. Bestial Wrath pop. There's no Frost Nova. Chaz is in a stun. Tessia hides behind the cart here, dropping a Ring of Frost onto all of the pets, but they could switch to Waz too. Tony sits through a blind, jumping into bear form and expecting that he's going to be the target. He gets kidney shot. He's not the target. They want Casu. They stun Relza. They shadow step over to reconnect. 1 second left on the stun lock here on the Casu. Someone needs to do something. Feign death from Casu. He's going to disengage back to the pillar with Exhilaration. Relza comfortably sits through the crowd control with Rapture up. He's trying to go for the win. Tessia blinks away with Alter Time. So he could cancel this altar. I think he's going to cancel the altar so he stays at the pillar. He doesn't want to blink back on top of Casu. They managed to stabilize, but mana is absolutely zeroed out for Chaz. It's going to be zeroed out for Relza in a moment. Casu in another full stun lock, but pre-pain suppression right before the polymorph landed. Are they going to kill him through pain suppression with combustion? He's down below half. He goes for another polymorph. They're trying to finish Casu in game 2 here, but Tony is uncrowd controlled. He stuns up Waz, stalling the damage for a moment as Relza finally comes out, and Waz gets swapped to and almost dies out of nowhere, trading evasion. Tessia on the run. Chaz tried to drink. He got a bit of mana. A bit is better than none, but he's in a freezing trap. He trinkets. Waz is getting bitten down to the ground as Chaz barely recovers with one heal, but he's interrupted on the next one. Waz is trying to set up for the win. He stuns the whole team, but now they don't have a stun for Kasu. Kasu can try and kite. I don't think he's going to out-kite this. Tony trinkets. He disorients. He's trying to stall the damage as long as possible, but Relza is still in a polymorph. 1 second left in the polymorph. Feign death comes through. Smoke bomb. Kasu immediately gets out of the smoke bomb, but Relza is struggling to heal through this, and he hasn't found a drink throughout this, and Chaz did.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Relza's mana's not looking good. A full Cyclone lands. Kasu could be in some trouble. Here's the Ring of Frost coming in from Tessia. Unfortunately for him, it gets interrupted, but the cheap shot might be enough. Feign death comes in. Massive shield will keep him alive for the time being, but a stun. The damage from Method EU is unrelenting as they continue to make a push, but I feel like this push may be over. They need some crowd control. They need to wait till Rels is off diminishing return, and Horizon needs to figure out something fast because they are on the ropes right now.
Full blind.
Full polymorph lands. Waz throws a full blind on
Buzz.
Tony. 3 versus 1 situation. Big damage, and Casu's forced to trade out the aspect of the turtle. Luckily for Relza, he still has his trinket available, and Waz has no threat of blind, so they might be able to live, but a big combustion. Rapture shields could be enough. Rapture after rapture after rapture, power word shield after power word shield, but Relza gets interrupted and doesn't have access to that tree. A nice cyclone coming in from Chaz. Can they get anything on Relza? Relza just goes for it. He gets a fear on Chaz, but a Dragon's Breath, full polymorph, it lands. Do they have a stun on Kasu? Can they get there? They just need to get a little bit more. And the Method will be up 2-0 in this series. Can they do it? Oh, it looks like it broke. And Relza is able to collect some heals, but is it enough? Dampening is high, and now the pressure is being reversed here onto Waz.
SK is playing this game absolutely beautifully. Kasu, what are you going to do? The next kidney shot is coming. We all know it. And there it is. Now Waz goes for the kidney shot onto Relza. Pre-barrier comes out. Double Ring of Frost opportunity for Tessia. He gets kicked. He gets kicked again on the sheep. That was the Shadow Word Death. He can still spam zone Relza here by just casting sheep. He can blink for it and land it, and he will. And Relza has trinket, but if he trinkets, there's not going to be a trinket for the next blind, and that's going to be up in about 40 seconds. He chooses to trinket into a cyclone. Can Chaz cyclone Kasu now? That is the big question here. Chaz gets feared up. He has trinket. He doesn't have it out. Waz is in a stun. Chaz needs to trinket here. He's not trinketing. He gets the nature swiftness. Waz hangs on, and the next setup is happening right now. There's a combustion. There's the bash.
No way.
Damage coming in. Can Chaz land it? He lands the knock into the entangling roots. What an insane knock by Chaz at the end of this one. Absolute peak performance, and he was not lying on Twitter. Go follow him right now as well.
Yeah, go follow Chaz. Chaz_wow on Twitter. He deserves that one. Go ahead, man.
That typhoon, when we see it on the replay, oof, that was disgusting. Oof, loved it. I loved it a lot.
I feel like I didn't see it, so I'm waiting in anticipation to see what exactly it got done. But yeah, Method EU, I mean, they played this one well. You have to give a lot of credit to Horizon as well. They managed to deal with these Rogue Mage setups a lot better in this one, and this one really came down to the wire. Both these healers out of mana. Was barely surviving there at the end as well. 30% dampening it took to close out a match between Rogue Mage, Druid, and Jungle. So you can just tell how well both these teams are rotating defensively. Their offensive capabilities are looking good, but it is Method that is pulling ahead. And they're up 2-0 in this best of 7. They only need 2 more to close it out. Got a lot of work ahead of them if Horizon is looking to win.
I mean, this is wild. Like, only early on in the day they would have lost to this team already, but here they are 2-0 right now, only 2 away from winning this series. And here's the replay as well.
Yeah, so here Tessia goes for the double ring. Look at this kick by Kasu, and then a kick by Tony. But Relza overlaps it with the Shadow Word Death there, of course. So Tessia blinks, lands the sheep, and then Relza trinkets during this chain, and then look what Chaz does to Relza towards the end of this replay. So he trinkets the Cyclone here. He gets Recyclone. He continues the chain a little bit. And then look at Chaz here. He gets feared. He sits the fear. Waz almost goes down, but he pre-fainted. If he didn't pre-faint, he was for sure dead there. He gets topped up. And then look at Chaz here. He just goes for the bash. And then look at his knock.
Oh, I like that. Nah.
It's so good. And then he just starts rooting him behind the pillar. Absolute peak performance, and that's because his Cyclone was obviously on diminishing returns right there because he trinketed it and then he got the DR Cyclone. So it was either a triple DR Cyclone or the little boink, and it was enough.
man. Oh my gosh. I mean, who would have expected this like 2 in a row from Method EU? I would have at least expected Horizon to win that second game if Method EU was going to win the blind pick, but Method EU completely dominating in this series so far. And like we were saying at the end of game number 1, Horizon doesn't really have anything to fall back on. They don't really have anything they could do in terms of changing up their composition. So what can they do in this situation, Super Tees? I mean, they can't afford to lose any more if they want to have any hopes of bouncing back in this series.
I mean, if Chaz is running balance affinity, they could actually attack Chaz. I wonder if that's an option. Just use a trinket on one player every go and run the druid down and just play to win before you've burned all of your medallions. It'd be risky, but at the same time, we've not seen them try it. It would then at least, I think, force Waz to stun defensively more. If Waz can just sit there with his diminishing returns and get every single setup, it seems like that's really tough, and they haven't been able to find a way to force Waz to kind of stun too much outside of his cycle. It seems really tough for Relza to trinket. Like the blinds are going under the Feral Druid, and Relza's still kind of just sitting like trinket in hand. But if he doesn't play trinket and plays Relentless, I think he'll regret doing that too. It seems really tough for Relza overall to figure out where to allocate the medallion. Maybe we see Gelu come out at some point. Maybe a Feral Mage. From them for this matchup specifically. We haven't seen Gelu play. I don't remember the last time we saw Gelu play. When was the last time we saw Gelu play? Has he even played in the second season?
One time.
Yeah.
He's been tagged in a few times, I think, like maybe 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
This might be the time. Fight fire with fire.
I don't know. That game was really close. I think tagging in Gelu right now, and if they lose that, that's going to demoralize them. I think that game was still really close. Could have gone either way. Even West could have just died there, like on the replay. So I say run it down as jungle. And I mean, they obviously know jungle better than anyone. So if there's any adaptation that you haven't thought of, make that adaptation and see what happens there. Because that game, it really felt like it just came down to Chess getting that little drink, and they just had a little bit more damage on 1 or 2 of their setups. Could have easily gone to Horizon. So I don't want to see either side swap. Not right now. If they lose this one and it's like it looks like game number 1, then I would say, okay, it's time to bring in the Panda. Let's see Gelu.
I feel like it would be kind of sad to see Horizon swap as well. I mean, they've made it this far with the jungle composition. We haven't seen a team do that, make it to a finals, a jungle team do that in quite some time. So it would feel kind of anticlimactic to see them swap off their main composition this late into the season as well as the tournament. But Horizon sticking with that jungle, they locked in a Robodrome as well, and I mean, I guess they're going to stick to their guts. So let's see what they can do as we head into this next game. If Method EU wins a third one, that means that they are on a match point. It is best of 7, so it's first to 4 wins that will be winning this one. And Horizon is I can't imagine how they're feeling right now, because they probably thought they had this one almost easily, especially considering how they won that first game just earlier on in the series in the tournament against Method EU is 3-1, and now they haven't even been able to win a series against or a game against them yet, Sid.
It kind of feels like Method EU, like last minute before they had to turn in like their university thesis, they were like Rogue Mage Druid. But like on the final night, they just did an all-nighter on Rogue Mage Druid and just came in here and they're just stomping everybody. I mean, it's nice to see Waz and Chaz back together in this, and now bringing Tessia as the newer third at this point. And they're really owning it up as Rogue Mage Druid. They're the only team. Horizon, on the other hand, the only jungle really that we've seen in tournament play as well, just battling it out, and they can't get defeated. I mean, that was a long game. Kasu just levitated across the whole battlefield to try and flare Waz out of stealth. I've never seen someone do that. Did you watch him? He got levitate, disengaged, and was like immediately across the map and almost flared Waz out of stealth. It was like a really small thing, but if he flared Waz out, it could have been the difference in winning the game. But he's not going to find it, so they go back to their post at the pillar, waiting to see if they can find Waz with the flare. Oh man, Waz almost got flared again there. It's right behind him, I think, because he's just going to walk away from it. I wonder if Waz realizes how lucky he is right now to dodge both those flares, because Kasu's in stealth as well.
Yeah, I mean, in the last game it looked a bit funny, but eventually if Castu does get pulled out, That's a big advantage for Method. So everyone's kind of in stealth right now. Pardon me. Except Nitesia and Relza, but it looks like the game is going to get underway. They pounce Waz. They actually do manage to find him. Tony's going to be moving forward and going after Tetsuya. So it looks like it's not the worst start. The trap actually got eaten there by Tessie. He's got Ultra Time up, so they managed to deflect this jungle opener quite nicely. Now it's going to be up to Method EU to kind of strike back, chase down Casu. Let's see if they can actually get the crowd control they need on Relza. A big deal in this match is actually just Relza avoiding Tessia. The Dragon's Breath Sheeps are absolutely brutal for him to deal with. There's the double Dragon's Breath potential, Ring of Frost, the bash, but the maim as well. Let's see if they can get the polymorph. Tessia doesn't have his trinket available, so he's not going to be able to get it. Relza escapes, and that's going to really hurt the offense of Method EU.
Yeah, and we're going to see Casu actually pushing forward here, looking to get a little bit aggressive, but Waz Shadow steps over to him immediately. They actually sheep him up here, and they're going to try to slow him down. Chaz going for some hibernates. He gets bashed up. That's going to be the trap here onto Chaz. Kidney shot, though, onto Casu. They got the full blind rolling onto Relza. Potential for a sap there as well. Waz will get the sap, but Casu's HP is not moving whatsoever. No damage to be taken right now by Casu, and he will get Cyclone here. So Relza gets away with holding his trinket for that entire go, and that's going to be another small victory in this game going for Horizon.
All right, let's see if they can keep up the lead here. They've been looking better and better throughout this series, so it is possible for them to still reverse this. Chaz is stunned up. Tessia is getting blasted. Shackles of Malediction. Relza getting in position for a fear, but they decide to drop it as Chaz uses Medallion. Now they're focused on defense, entangling roots onto the road. Waz uses Cloak to break out of the roots. They're swapping to Tony. Tony is going to Barkskin. Is Barkskin going to be enough for Tony to survive in game number 3? It doesn't look like it. Oh my goodness, the shackle value on Tony right now. That shackle is absorbing all of the heals. He's down to 10% against Cyclone. If they can switch this crowd control to Relza, they could KO Tony out of this chain. They need more Cyclones. They can't get the Cyclone. Tony recovers. Such a close call. Definitely one of his 9 lives used up there. Waz is still going after him, but Tony goes for a bash. He's trying to eat the freezing trap. Alter time from Tessia. He's line of sighting the purges. They're not going to be able to remove that alter time unless they get a lucky trank shot. Maybe they did hit it. Tessia is still behind the pillar, but Chaz is out of crowd control. Waz is getting ready for the attack. Tony tries to re-stealth. He's going to stun Waz. Swap over to Waz, but pre-faint by Waz. He's going to easily tank out the damage and the stun. Tony's moving forward. Roots Waz. I like these entangling roots on Waz. Just utilizing more control. And his Relza, he's running Thought Steal. He's stealing Polymorph from Tessia and crowd controlling Waz with his own Polymorph. Interesting talent choice here from Relza. I don't even remember the last time we saw a Priest running Thought Steal. Seems like a long time, but it's putting Tessia behind an awkward position where they can't do a go. Chaz in the freezing trap. They're trying to set up damage, but Waz shuts them down.
Yeah, nicely done there. About 4 minutes elapsed in this game. Polymorph now onto Relza. Casu could be in a little bit of trouble, taking some burst here from Waz, but Tony in the backline throwing in Regros, just playing more of a supportive role on that Feral Druid, just avoiding the interrupts, avoiding crowd control. And if he can cast, if he's got the mana and he can cast, he can absolutely keep his Hunter alive. So that might be one adaptation we're seeing from Horizon, just allowing Tony to go for more crowd control. And that way, Method U actually has to get triple crowd control if they want to close it out and actually have a hope of winning. Maim stun now on Tessia. It seems like Horizon is playing this game just much more defensive, just do as much damage as they can, try to survive. And this is kind of what you were talking about, Sid. They are playing to damp in this one, it seems. Not really, not giving away their positioning, but Relza gets caught into a polymorph. Casu down to 10% health. The Feigned Death Legendary ends up keeping Casu alive as Tony moves forward. He gets interrupted. Nicely done. That's the triple crowd control we were talking about. And Casu is forced into the turtle. Beautifully done by Method, and they get a lot of cooldowns as a result.
They might just
Absolutely
win.
Insane push. They might just win on that. They still have CC onto Tony. They sheep him. Tony going for some regrowths now. Relza also finally out of crowd control. Casu will survive. Full trap here onto Chest. Look at Tessia. Already in soul shape. Alter time is active. I'm not sure if it actually got purged there though. Relza now in a kidney shot. We're trying to start up the chain here. And nice fake attempts there coming out from Tessia, but he does not manage to fake us those interrupts. And now Relza has a chance to potentially Shadow or Death that polymorph. Chaz is in a silence. Tessia is going to just abandon that push, resetting his Dragon's Breath, resetting his Blink. And Casu is dropping dangerously low here once again. Tessia now going for the double Dragon's Breath, double Ring of Frost here. Can he get it? He does. And the pets as well. Big damage coming in from Tessia. That's going to be an instant trinket barrier coming out from Relza. And that, my friends, is big trouble because Tessia, he has his combustion, Raz has his shadow blade, the next kidney could just be the game, and if not, well, guess what? They got blind in 30 seconds. They could CC Rosa for an eternity and take somebody down here, but Chaz is getting so pressured here. They're just sending it on Chaz. All the damage in the world here onto Chaz. He's getting swapped to. He might just go down here, but where's Tony? Tony now into the cheap shot, into the full cyclone. That's gonna be it, most likely. No way Cash can survive this one. He feign deaths one of the shackles. Relza's not in crowd control. The smoke bomb's not gonna be enough, and they pulled the trigger on the shadow blades, but not on the combustion. Blind is now off cooldown super easy.
No trinket, full blind. It's do or die. They have to kill Chaz. They have to kill Chaz literally in the next 20 seconds, or I think they're about to lose. They blind Relza. If Waz gets in range of Casu, he's going to die. Waz shadow steps into kidney shot. Tony jumps over to help. Waz trinkets to go for the kill. They pop combustion, but he roar of sacrifices. Is roar of sacrifice going to be enough? They grip Casu back to the pillar. If Casu can somehow hold on here, he's got pain suppression. Is he really going to die through pain suppression? Roar of sacrifice. Rapture comes through, but Relza has 0 mana. They still need to find a target to kill. Tony is trying to whittle away Chaz, but he's just not finding momentum. They go after Waz. Waz shadowy duels one-on-one with Casu, down to half health in game number 3. Method EU looking to move to match point. They have mana advantage. Tessia's moving in with Soul Shape, looking for crowd control. They're confident. They sap Tony. They stun up Casu, and Relza is absolutely tapped. There is 0 mana left. He barely survives the stun. He gets an exhilaration, but Relza's now interrupted. He blinks out of the Ring of Frost. He feigned deaths at 10%. They're battling it out to the absolute bitter end with 0 mana left in the tank, but Waz shadow steps in, and with crowd control across the board, Method EU have solved Horizon, it looks like.
I can't believe what I just watched. I mean, in the replay, Relza had an absolutely phenomenal game. He tried to keep his team in it, but Method EU, their pressure is just overwhelming, and Horizon is just their main problem in this game is they're really struggling to find damage. It just seems like they're on the back foot from start to finish, and this is what happens when you play against a good rogue mage. They're constantly doing setups, and as soon as they aren't doing setups, they just go into a pure defensive posture, and they just have all the momentum as a result.
Man, Relza at the end there, we're going to see it in the replay, but that was sick. I'm almost like a bit sad that Casu went down there. I mean, the setup for Method was insane as well, but the way Relza was avoiding all the crowd control, that was really, really nice.
Oh my gosh. Method EU, they're on match point now. It's 3-0. Let's break down that game number 3 kill as well.
I mean, so at this point, you're in checkmate. Relza has no trinket. Waz, actually, no, this is right at the kill. Look at that death from Relza, though. He premonitions, and look at this blink as well. He premonitions, the blink Dragon's Breath from Tessia, and then he blinks with his soul shape while he's kicked. Since he can't dispel the Nova, Tessia tries to like Nova Ring of Frost him, but he soul shapes it, and then he gets, I think, 1 mend off there as well, but it just wasn't enough for him to be able to keep the Hunter alive. And for Method, I mean, this is got to be a matchup. They probably didn't even know that, okay, we're just going to run it down as sub and see what happens. I really think this was something like they just had enough in their series against Reload, and they were like, you know what? Let's just see sub rogue. Let's just run it down.
Oh, look at that from the starting gate. The flare. Look at the flare. Look at Waz. He's literally he's like an inch in front of the flare. That could have decided the whole game. Or at least the start of the game. Like, if you pulled a rogue out of stealth as jungle, watch Casu. This is a flying bomb of flare, and Waz is right there. Like, I don't know if he realized how lucky that was.
So what they do there is he jump mounts, and then while he's on the mount, his priest is spamming the levitate, and then when he dismounts, he gets a levitate, and he just flies in like that. That's why he was like so high up as well, and so fast. That was nice.
Does Method EU just win this whole thing 4-0?
I mean,
it's looking more like it.
It's not looking bad. It's not looking bad for them. They're up 3-0 right now. I feel like, you know, if I was thinking about who's going to win the next one, I feel like Method EU definitely has a lot of momentum, but you can't count Horizon out, obviously, but they need to figure out something. It might be Geller that needs to come in. I don't know if the jungle's working. Maybe they need to switch over to playing Survival instead of Beast Mastery. I really don't know, but what I will say is whatever they're doing right now, Method EU has figured out. So it seems like they're very safe in the matchup. they're confident in getting their crowd control and eventually taking someone down. So Horizon needs to be the one that mixes it up, in my opinion. Otherwise, I feel like Method EU is going to walk away with this one.
It's really exposing the vulnerabilities of being a one composition team.
Yeah.
Or at least
I mean, when
favoring
jungle
one.
looks good, it looks good. When someone figures out how to beat jungle, then it doesn't look so good. So, I mean, so far it's like Horizon, I think. I mean, at least in the round robin, I believe they lost their first 2 series against Ret Warrior. So they played their top 2 hardest teams first, and they lost to them. So they were down 0-2. Things weren't looking good, and then they just started winning. They won 5 in a row and ended at 5-2, I do believe. So they've been looking really good. And then you have to keep in mind, after that, their momentum in the top 4 has been a win into the grand finals. And now Method EU is saying, hey, you know what if we just go back to what we're best at? And it's been working out. And now Horizon is really being challenged, because are they going to switch off the jungle? They need to start making some hard decisions, because in the last 7 series, they have not had to make a change whatsoever.
Yeah.
And now this is where it becomes really, really difficult if you're only playing one composition.
Yeah, I mean, it really is crazy when you put it like that. Then they've just done nothing but won. They've had this crazy streak, and Method just put a halt to it. And all it took was them reverting back to a classic composition. I'm seeing people all over Twitter being like, "Oh my God, what year is it?" Kind of mirroring what Sid was saying earlier on. But we'll see if they decide to respond in any way on the side of Horizon, or if they're going to continue on with their jungle composition. It would be interesting to see Gelu come off of the bench when it really counts like this. But it would be a risky move, I think, for sure, because they can't afford to drop any more games. The Method EU, they are on match point. They are 1 victory away from winning the entire European AWC Season 2, and they would be our new champions for this year. So Hook Point is going to be where we're headed to. Method EU, no changes there on their side for their composition, and now all eyes are on Horizon. This is the biggest moment up to this point for these players in their World of Warcraft career, and they've only got 2 minutes to make that decision. That could be the difference between going on and reverse sweeping Method EU or being dropped out of this tournament, Zico.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, for Horizon, you tried the jungle 3 times now. There's one thing they haven't tried, and this is something that they do a lot, and that's bringing in Kazu with the Survival Hunter. That's usually in response to, assassination rogues and things like that, where you want to remove all the bleeds with Survival Hunter. But I feel like with Survival Hunter, at least, Kazu can maybe get a little bit more distance. He can at least, just bleed and just kind of run away. Because let's be honest, right now, his pets are getting Ring of Frosted a lot anyway to stop his combustion. So I feel like he's not getting the highest value from them. Could be a thing, or it could be time for the chalky milkman himself, Mr. Gelu, to send it in on the Panda Mage, combust somebody, send them home, and see what happens. Because that's what they have around when they have kind of altered away from this jungle. That's been their go-to pick, has been the Holy Priest Feral Mage, and they are incredible at it. But I don't think it's the greatest matchup, but that could also be an option for them. So I think either Survival Hunter, or we're going to see Gelu finally tagged in here.
Yeah, we're going to find out. We got about 20 seconds left. They've definitely got a lot to talk about. I believe they've also already used their delay timer. I'm not sure if they've got any of it left. They used it earlier on in the series, so you can bet that they've got a lot to talk about, but it looks like they are going to be sticking with that comp, Sid.
Well, I mean, in that last game, they started poking Chaz, and that was the most amount of pressure they had in the whole game, but they started poking him when they had nothing left. So if they actually attack Chaz when they have cooldowns to use, I think that's their plan on Hook Point. They pick a small map, you go all out aggression, you chase Chaz, you put fears into the DPS, you put traps into the DPS, you run the Druid down, and you just full gas pedal. But it's match point. So gas pedal strategy on match point, I think they have to do it. Like the only time in the game I was like, wow, maybe they can win is when they were hitting Chaz. But it was too late at that point because they had no more defense left to keep doing it. If they hit Chaz when they still have defense, I think they can do it. But it's one of those things where it's like, are you willing to commit to that? Are you willing to go all in and just try and run down the Druid? It's match point. Can you win 4 games of doing that? It's going to be really tough. And like we've been talking about, this is Horizon's domination. Like Horizon has dominated everybody other than the Ret Warriors up until this moment. Method EU have crawled through the lower bracket throughout Lone Tar's Defiance. Like, they beat the almost unkillable Shaman Legend in the first round. And then they had the upset against Skill Cap. They haven't been able to beat Skill Cap in months, maybe years consistently. And they were able to upset them. Now we're in the finals, and they are just trouncing Horizon. And like Horizon had complete control. Like all of us put bets on Horizon winning the whole tournament. Let alone even considering that Method EU could win this as Rogue Mage Druid. This is very impressive. Like this, no matter what, this is going to be a treat.
Yeah, it certainly will. I mean, it's really incredible that the series has ended up this way. Horizon, like you said, Sid, has been completely dominating this bracket, as well as Method EU. The last 2 times that they played against this team was on Saturday and also in the circuit week number 4, and they won 3-0 in week number 4. So the perfect conditions for Horizon at the moment. They're playing against a team that they've historically beaten. Their hardest competitors got knocked out of the tournament already, with Reload Esports getting knocked out, and they're just kind of throwing it all away. So hopefully they turn it around. They don't lose right here, because they've got one more chance to stay in this tournament.
All right, let's see what they can do. Waz in stealth right now, going to be a little bit of a mind game once again to actually see if he can find his target. Casu's sitting in stealth as well, so the same kind of mind game and battle we've seen in the opener. Tessia is going to be throwing in flame strikes if he can, and he does. He finds Casu, so gets Casu out of stealth, and this is Waz's opportunity to move forward and actually get a opener. Let's see, he's going to wait to stun Casu. At the same time, Tessia wants to go for a Dragon's Breath, so here we go. Polymorph on Casu, but Tony's going to come and try to disrupt with a stun on Chaz. Tessia down to 50% in this opener. This small map should be really, really explosive. Casu in a kidney shot right now. Tony gets gripped. And it looks like triple stuns will be coming in from Waz. Potential Ring of Frost. Can he find it? And he does! Beautifully done there by Method EU.
Oh, that
Tony
vortex.
actually gets the vortex in. Nicely done. Triple crowd control. It looks good. Casu's low. That's because the turtle potentially trading out. No, it's the exhilaration and the emblem. So this is a great start for Method.
That was a sick vortex. Once again, Chaz just popping off here, and you got to give it to Tessia as well. Landing that double CC there was absolutely insane. Let's see what else they can do here. Tony potentially getting kidney shot stabbed here. Waz decides not to go for it. Casu trying to stop Tessia here. Dragon's Breath comes out. There's the roar onto Tony. There's the full Dragon's Breath sheep. Casu, what are you going to do here? It's going to be the feign death into the aspect of the turtle, but they have more crowd control. Another sheep sneaks into another one, and Chaz doesn't have the Cyclone DR there since Dragon's Breath started the chain, but that could have been just Casu's life. And guess what? Tessia is going to have combustion in 25 seconds. Waz, he has Shadowy Duel. They have all the tools they need to potentially close this one out. Blind is ready. They pop it immediately here onto Relza. Where is the stuns? Where's the damage? Can they get the Ring of Frost? They get stopped. They get the sap. And there is the kidney shot. This has got to be Relza's trinket grip here. He gets bombed on his trinket. His heals are doing nothing right now. And Tessia could potentially close this one out. They get a DR sap out of the bomb. Can they get anything else? Bash now onto Relza. Chaz gets stunned up into a full freezing trap. Is he going to trinket aggressively here to just close this one out? He might have to. Shadowy Duel comes out from Waz here. Pain suppression now as well for Casu. They got absolutely nothing, and combustion is ready. This game is all about done here, Sid.
This game should be done and dusted for Method EU unless Casu pulls off a miracle. He's running for his life behind the fence line while his teammates are crowd control, but Waz catches up, but he doesn't KO him in the stun lock. Casu is now out of a stun. How long can he kite and stall here? His exhilaration comes up in 15. They're setting up damage on Waz, trying to blast him away. They get Chaz's trinkets. They've got evasion out of the way. There's maybe potential for Casu to pull off a miracle here, but he is dancing with death on match point. They have to reverse sweep 4 games in a row. Waz is moving in for the game-winning stun. Gets rooted, gets dispelled. Tessia gets interrupted. Waz is falling behind. Casu is in the full stun. This could be it for Casu. Tony is emergency healing, but instantly counterspelled. And Casu is about to get KO'd. Powered shield comes in at the last possible second, but now cycloned at low health. If they can switch any crowd control on Relza, Relza is abandoning the mission, trying to go behind the pillar, but Tessia's zoning in, Chaz is zoning in. Casu trying to disengage back to him. He's done everything that he can. They get a full fear. Can they kill Waz through Ironbark with a full fear? Can they do it? Can Horizon do it and reverse it back? They have in game 4 on match point with nothing left. Put a point on the board.
Oh, We got a series on our hands. Horizon is not going to make it that easy for Method. They battled it back. They did a great job that game. I mean, there's so many times in that match where it looked like Casu was out of it, but they had the cooldowns. They could rotate through. They didn't panic. They didn't overlap. And as a result, I think Method EU, they got a little confident in their push, and they just kind of forgot about defense. It was just all about offense for them. And Horizon said, you know what, we can still do some damage. They go after Waz when he has nothing left, and he's already traded out to go offensive, and they're able to take him down and put a point on the board.
All right, so we're going to see it here. It was kind of insane that at the end there, they were able to turn that around, because this looked so dire for Casu. Casu, I mean, he was definitely feeling the heat during this matchup here. And you can see it here. He's in the Cyclones. He's got no defensives really to work with aside from that exhilaration. And Relza, of course, as well, with no trinket here. So the next setup is just deadly. But they managed to turn it around. You get the shackles, they get the double roar. You have the damage to back it up. You get the CC there onto Chaz. And I'm not sure if Chaz trinketed offensively a little bit earlier, but that might have been what actually costed them there. But still, it was a good pick as well. Hook point, I think, is a big reason why a lot of this pressure was possible. So Horizon, they're still in it, and that's the thing. When you see both of these teams kind of running the same composition over and over again, it really just, the scoreline almost doesn't matter. It's all about who wins that game, right? So for them, definitely not an easy road ahead, but it is possible.
Right here, I think, is Chaz's trinket. So what does Chaz ultimately trinket? Because he didn't have it at the end of the game. So he gets stunned. I think it has to be a full trap, right? There's no other thing that he would trinket. So Waz is at like half health with feint.
Yeah, okay. It was good. It was good. He had no Iron Bark as well. If he falls behind there, you kind of had to trinket there. But I almost wanted him to trinket offensively earlier when they nearly killed Casu and just send him home. I feel like they actually could have gotten the kill earlier if they did that. But it's obviously easy to say, after. They might also lose because of it.
Yeah, I mean, this could spell disaster for Method. We were kind of mentioning it a little bit earlier, how Method could be, warmed up after playing those two series earlier today, and then Horizon hasn't played at all until this series, and maybe they're warmed up now. Maybe they're starting to find their stride, and maybe they're a bit, on the edge of a momentum swing here, Supertees.
I mean, definitely. Every game is more practice for them, right? This is a matchup that I don't think they could have really prepared for, because nobody plays this comp in the game, like, period. Sub, Rogue, Fire, Mage, Resto Druid, like, nobody plays it. So now in game 4, they showed that they can get pressure, force cooldowns, and win the game. Whereas in the previous 3, it was kind of like, you're staying alive a long time, but I'm not really confident you can win. That last game, there was confidence that they could win, even being so far behind. Method EU, the only thing, maybe, I think there was one point there when we thought Casu was going to die, and Tony went behind the fence to heal, and Tessia and Waz both interrupted him. So maybe Waz should have just stayed on target doing damage, and then Tessia should have interrupted him, and maybe he would have died there. And that's like a very minor thing. But now we're going to big maps, and Method EU have been winning on mana as well in some of these longer games where Chaz is actually able to drink. It doesn't feel like Relza ever gets a point where he is allowed to drink. Someone will just die immediately if he does. So Chaz has a lot more breathing room on big maps like this. And Horizon is going to have to battle big map after big map after big map, basically 3 games in a row. It's going to be the gauntlet of big maps.
Yeah, and back on your note with getting more practice against this composition as well, I almost wonder if having this be a best of 7 is going to be the sort of the saving grace for Horizon. Had this been a best of 5, they would have lost already. They wouldn't have had these chances to sort of come back from this, regardless of how this is going to end, if it does end in this next game. So we'll have to see if they're feeling more comfortable in this series. Sorry, but yeah, we're going to head into this next game here. We're going to go to Ashmanes as well. So the question then is, Ven, will Horizon be able to repeat what they just did?
I mean, I'm sure they hope so. It was close. Let's not forget. I mean, they were on the back foot for the last couple of minutes of that game, barely surviving setup. So they need to find those opportunities where Method maybe gets a little bit too aggressive and try to capitalize on that. I like the fact that they went after Waz in the game. I feel like he's getting to do what he wants a lot in this matchup, and going after Tessia doesn't seem to be actually shutting him down very much. So maybe you just focus more on Waz, try to train him down. Not even train him down, just make sure you're doing swaps to him, as it can be really, really punishing as that rogue. And jungle has a lot of damage. I mean, both these teams, so much damage, lots of crowd control, lots of outplay potential, and that's why it's just a beauty to watch them kind of go head to head. But Rising can definitely get back in this one. I mean, they're picking up a little bit of momentum, a little bit of steam with that game 4 victory, keeping them alive in the tournament. And now at this point, it's do or die. They cannot lose a single game. And Method EU, you can tell they're hungry. They want it. I mean, they've had a grueling day, and they're 1 away from being the champions.
All right, this is what potentially could be the last game of the series here. 3-1 right now in favor of Method. Asher Main's Fall selected. Let's see, can Horizon do it again, or will their fate be sealed right now? Let's see how it pushes in. Looks to poke Relza a little bit to make sure that, you know, he's there.
Hey Relza, what's up? It's match point. How you doing? I'm just gonna poke you a little bit. You haven't found my rogue yet. Cassio comes out of stealth. So Tony is waiting for Waz. It's Tony and Waz. Who finds who first? Waz are right on top of each other. How did they not see Tony accept him? This is devastating on match point. That is just extra free crowd control. Cassio runs for his life around the pillar. Waz finally catches up, but Relza fears Tessia, avoiding any crowd control to heal Cassio. But now he's interrupted. He goes for a Shadow Mend. Tony is still crowd controlled, waiting to start playing the game. Jumps over to Tessia, dropping a defensive Ring of Frost, trying to hit the pets. Not going to hit it, but that Frost Nova is still getting value. Cassio's trying to find his footing, blasting down Tessia, now swapping to Waz. Big heals, but big damage as well. Jazz is falling behind. There's pressure onto 2 players. He's in a full freezing trap. Tessia is trying to line of sight Cassio at the pillar. He manages to avoid him, but Jazz used his trinket. Jazz used his medallion. There's opportunities for Horizon now to pull out a kill, but Cassio is in a stun lock. He's playing far away from Relza.
Oh my goodness.
He's trying to make sure that Waz can't stun multiple players, and they're trying to spread out, but if they leave Tessia open to find Dragon's Breath Polymorph, that might backfire.
Relza's playing insane. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he used Premonition on the, or Shadow of Death on the Polymorph, or on the Dragon's Breath, pardon me, and then Tessia tried to go for a Shimmer Polymorph, and Relza Shadow melded it, so he's just doing a great job of avoiding crowd control, but Tessia is forced into the Ice Block, massive damage. Now Tessia just exits. He throws caution to the wind while his healer's in crowd control. They're going for a Polymorph on Relza. Cassio low. He has to trade out his trinket as well as his exhilaration. He's still low, but at the same time, Tessia is low also. Back and forth are these 2 teams exchanging cooldowns and going for blow at about 2 minutes in the match.
Absolutely insane so far. Both of these teams seem to have found their targets here. Could be Cassio in a smoke bomb. It could be Tessia here. He only has the cauterize to rely on right now. Tessia's trying to line of sight here. He blinks back in and snipes the counterspell there onto Tony. Now he tanks the stun when Chaz can back him up. Now here comes Method. Blink, Dragon's Breath, bash into the Cyclone. Tony trinkets out to stop it. DR Sheepshot comes out. Where's the Ring of Frost? They don't have it. Tessia finally gets it off cooldown, but he doesn't find it. The Soul Shape comes through, and he does snipe it, but Preemptive Barrier gets dropped, and this is a big win here for Method. Cassio, he has no trinket. Method have Smoke Bomb, and there's no barrier. They could take him down.
There's no block.
But right now it's going to be Tessia with no block. He might go down here. Cauterize triggers, and that's going to be the defensive Smoke Bomb coming out from Waz. Tessia activates the Training Ward. He gets double Dragon's Breath. Mind Control gets stopped here by Waz, and Tessia will survive, but it costed them their offense. They had to use that pressure Smoke Bomb just to allow Tessia to survive for one more setup. Now the question is, can they execute without it? They need to find themselves some crowd control onto Relza. Relza did actually trinket a blind there. They have a KO situation. All they need to do is just land a clean cross here, but at the same time, so can Horizon, and here we go. They're going after Tony. I don't know if this is a mistake or not. Do they have the damage to send him home? I'm not sure. He might have to. He drops to 1%. He gets the Radiance. He drops dangerously low. Nice fear coming out from Relza. Triple Psychic Scream into the trap here onto Chaz. He trinkets out immediately, keeping Waz alive here. here. Sheep now onto Casu, and that was the kind of KO situation for both of these
Tessia.
teams, and both of them survive it, but it's Tessia on the back foot. Nature Swiftness comes through. Tony is going to use the Fleshcraft here. He gets kicked on it. He realizes that he could be a juicy target. He gets caught up in the Ring of Frost. He's got the Fleshcraft on him. Tessia, though, needs to run. Chaz, is he looking for a drink here potentially? He wants to maybe hold up Tessia and go for it, but it doesn't look like it. He's going to stay in and commit. Full shape secured, full kidney shot secured, but Tony gets the restuff, stuns up Waz, stuns up Tessia. Tessia with the dragon,
1 second.
with the alter time, resheep, and they get another sheep here, but it's not going to be enough. Casu will survive, and now Tessia is on the run, Sid.
I think Chaz got a bit of mana there amidst all the chaos, but Waz is falling behind. There's no trinket. If they land a freezing trap, they can win the game here. 30 seconds to that ice block. Ironbark is going to be ending soon. They're pushing for the win. Horizon need to find this crowd control. Chaz bounces them away. Tony jumps in. Waz is going after Relza at the moment. Kidney shot, pre-paint suppression, but who is he going to use it on? Tony trinkets out, full freezing trap. They're going for the win. Horizon are doing it in game number 5, but a Dragon's Breath at 20% on 2 players stalls the kill, and a huge heal comes out from Chaz. Tessia stays alive for another setup. Tony goes for a Cyclone, trying to keep momentum going before Ice Block comes off cooldown, but Combustion is available. Relz is in a full polymorph. Tony runs for his life behind the pillar. He re-stealths, jumps in, stuns Tessia, but here's a smoke bomb. Can Tony save Casu? He runs next to him to try and help. Casu gets out of the smoke bomb, but now Cyclone down in Penance at low health. No heals incoming. They need to make sure he doesn't get Cycloned again. He gets Cycloned again. If they can switch crowd control over to Relza, it could be devastating. The counterspell, Relza. Tessia is chasing Relza. Can Relza death the Dragon's Breath here and avoid the crowd control? Tessia is moving in his line of sight. Dragon's Breath looks like it may have got death. They're not finding crowd control, but Tony's in a full sap. Casu is going to be all alone right now, but it doesn't seem like they want him. They're going after Relza. Cheap shot, polymorph now, Shadow Step, reconnect. Everyone's crowd controlled. Casu on match point gets blasted at 1%. He's going to aspect of the turtle. Oh, that is lucky at that point. Casu stays alive with aspect of the turtle, running behind the pillar, trying to hold out, but there's such little mana remaining for his team. They stun up Tony during the freezing trap on Chaz. Tessia has no ice block though. He used it during one of these goes. Chaz is in a full fear. He trinkets Ironbarks, but dampening is starting to stack. Chaz's mana is not looking too good either. They're blasting down Tessia. Waz is rooted, trying to set up a polymorph. Relza gets faked on his death into a full Cyclone, and now with no Shadow or Death, double ring. Ring of Frost on the Feral, Hibernate on the Feral, Cyclone on Relza. He needs pain suppression, trinket pain suppression. He pre-barriers. Is it going to be enough? The pre-barrier. He has 0 mana left. This is insane.
Both these teams playing out of their minds at this point. You could not ask for a better finals. Polymorph on Relza. Casu still incredibly low, 11% dampening. Relza, no mana left whatsoever. Method, they just have to hold on, do damage, do not die. And I think they got this one in the bag. We'll see if they can do it. Waz right now taking a little bit of pressure. He doesn't have many defensive cooldowns. He could be a good target for Tony to go after. I mean, I really feel like Horizon just needs to go after Waz at this point of the game. They get the kidney shot, cheap shot on Relza, but the main stun comes in. Tony looking for a Cyclone, dodges line of sight. It looks like that is enough for Casu to get a paint suppression. Now Waz really is in trouble. Tony has to go after him. This Ring of Frost defensively from Tessia, freezing up all the pets from Casu and really slowing down that damage. Let's see if they can actually get a stun. It doesn't look like they can just yet. Cyclone now onto Relza. Waz moves forward, looking to get a stun, but unable to find it. Relza trades up the Raptor.
That's it! How?
And deleted. Horizon do it. They stay alive. They turn the pressure around, then drop Waz, put another point on the board, and they are up now 2-3. Still 2 games ahead of them, but they are definitely warmed up at this point.
Oh,
Absolute
for sure.
insanity.
And you could see the frustration as well on Waz's face. They could taste victory. They're only 1 game away. They're only 1 victory away from winning this entire thing, and Horizon is just taking away from them when they thought all hope was lost. They've managed to turn this one around, winning the last 2 games, Zico.
Just insane how close this game was. It just goes to show. So many times where Casu could have died, where Tessia could have died, where Waz could have died. And it is going to be Horizon with the stun on the trinket there at the end to secure the kill. But they still got to do it 2 more times. Method. I mean, look at that. Look at that. He was a 1% there. I cannot believe he survives there. I just can't believe it. Like, he was so incredibly low. And then here, This is the setup at the end there. Unfortunately, they don't get the Cyclone there onto Relza out of that sheep. They don't get anything really onto Relza. He drops the pain suppression, and that's all they get for the combustion. That was their kind of let's go. This is our kill window here. Relza walks in, DRs himself on that Ring of Frost, and then he gets Cycloned as well. And then at this point, Relza is completely on all DRs. Waz super low here. He doesn't have anything to work with. He gets stunned. He gets stunned on his trinket, and he gets absolutely crushed. Or actually, he might have trinketed as he died there. Rewatching that.
He got stunned on his trinket. I do believe. But he was 1 second away from Vanish, too, when he died.
Oh, really?
So,
it might have mattered.
He had 2 seconds left on Vanish. If he had, the Vanish when he trinketed, it could have been a different result. But, I mean, like I said, this is probably the best finals we could have asked for. Jungle going up against Rogue Mage. The game's as close as they are. Horizon potentially coming with a reverse sweep. And, I mean, I don't mean to call you out, Aya, but I mean, I feel like you kind of jinxed Method at the beginning of this one when they won that first game.
They won their blind.
They jinxed themselves for winning the blind pick. I told you. But I mean, either way, they've got more chances. Oh, here's the replay. I'll let you guys talk through this if you want.
Look at that Vanish, like 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 6 seconds. Does he pre-faint? That's the only thing I'm thinking. Like right here, maybe a pre-faint. Did he pre-faint it?
No, he just used it. He already just used it before
looks like
that.
So he trinkets. There's nothing he can really do, right? Like he trinkets a full stun. He doesn't have anything to use with it. So
look at Vanish. Oh,
yeah, 3
sad.
seconds, 2 seconds.
Man.
Gosh, but I mean, you guys are right. Like this, we couldn't have asked for a better finals. I'm really glad, even if Horizon doesn't end up pulling off this reverse sweep, I am glad that it didn't end in a 4-0. That would have been a really anticlimactic way to end the series because Horizon, they're coming back. They're definitely looking more comfortable in this series. They're looking warmed up. And we thought Method EU had the answer, had the ticket to beating this jungle team, but now it kind of seems like Horizon has started to figure it out. So I guess the question is, do we see Method change things up, Supatees?
I don't think so.
No?
I really doubt it. I think they're Rogue Mage Druid the whole way through. Zuniaki's just going to be sitting on the bench. Come on, guys, just one game. Come on. just do it, please. But yeah, I think Rogue Mage Druid is going to be their ticket, although it's still possible for Horizon. It's not like this is an unwinnable matchup. It's quite insane the lengths that Horizon are going to be able to survive in some of these situations. But what I like what they're doing now is when they sense that Method EU are about to go, they just start running away from each other. They scatter. And then because they scatter, it's really hard for Method EU to pin every single member down. And they have to pin 3 players to be able to kill the one target. Otherwise, the player that they don't pin is going to be able to save the player that's stunned. So Horizon are just constantly doing this like scatter and then reorganization and then scatter and then reorganization throughout the entire game to be able to avoid enough crowd control so that Casu isn't dying in these setups. And it's really tactical the way that they're playing. It might look like, why is Tony like running behind the pillar? But he's anticipating the attack and he wants to make sure he's not in range of crowd control so that he can even get one global cooldown off before he is to save Casu. And it's on a razor's edge, right? Like 2 more games for Horizon. Can they actually maintain control of Europe? Because they've been dominating the entire season outside of Ret Warrior. But they've been dominating Method for sure, as well as skill capped, which is unprecedented in the region for a long time, if not years, for a new team to be able to rival them. Method EU come in with Rogue Mage Druid. They're riding it all the way through, but Horizon seem to be getting better and better, just leveling up every single game. Maybe it's starting to get to the point where that Method aren't going to be able to do it. I could see this going to a game 5.
7?
Or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done a best of 7.
I know, it's been like we had the circuit for 4 weeks, and like right when we were about to go to this series, our producer was like, "Oh yeah, it's games best of 7." I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." So it's been a while since we've had a long series like this, because even a lot of times that we do have a best of 7, sometimes they end up in 4-1s or 4-0s or something like that. So it's really not often that we do see best of 7 games go to a game 7, and I think we could very well be seeing that situation play out in front of us right now, especially as Horizon is sort of catching up in this series to what Method EU is bringing to the table. So they're looking good. Let's see if they can continue on here, because if they win this next one, that means that they're tied up 3-3, and we will be going to a game 7. But either way, no matter how this does end up, Horizon has made an incredible comeback in this, and Method EU has made an incredible run in this series or in this tournament. You guys have to remember they came from the lower bracket. This is their 3rd series in a row that they have played today. Both of those games series having gone to game number 5. So they've had a very long day. They've fought extremely hard to be here and staying here. And I honestly, I'm really proud. I could not be more proud of both of these teams, Eco.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like when you think about it like that, Method, they were 1 game away from being eliminated in last place. I want that to sink in for a second. They were 1 game away. And that was a close game too. Like, they were 1 close game away from just being last place. But now they find themselves in the most commanding position they've had, or that you could be in, at 3-0 up in the final. However, Horizon finally starting to heat up here. They've won the last 2 games. They're looking to win 2 more. But Method, all that stands between them and winning the whole year is just this 1 game right here. They can close this one out. That's it. They're done. Let's see if they can do it. Gates are open. Tony, once again, just staying in stealth here, hiding. He wants to open onto Waz. So basically, they want to find Waz on the side of Horizon. And Kasu, he's going to come out from his camo eventually, and that's going to give Method an opportunity to open on him. But if Waz opens on Kasu, then Tony wants to open onto Waz and cyclone him. If they can do that, then they shut down the Rogue Mage opener. So that's basically kind of what they want to go for here. So both teams just playing it out patient, a lot on the line, of course. As they're actually moving in a little bit aggressively here, going for the first opener here. They sap Relza, they open onto Kasu. I don't know if this setup is going to be... Oh, that trap onto Tessia was absolutely insane. It was a random freezing trap down, and that freezing trap actually stunned Tessia's trinket on his Dragon's Breath, so he couldn't trinket Dragon's Breath Sheep and turn that opener around. But they did, however, get the paint suppression onto Kasu. So I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but Method will take it.
All right, 1 cooldown out of the way for Method here. They've still got another game to work with. They're on match point. They could just close it out. Kasu disengages. This is the scatter phase for Horizon. They need to spread out and avoid each other. And right now, Tony has managed to buy time to assist Kasu during the stun lock. So great scatter phase by Horizon, avoiding crowd control. But they still keep the chain going and reconnect with Shadow Step, looking to take down Kasu with a full Cyclone on Relza. Can they finish him here on match point? Lots of damage. Exhilaration comes through. Kasu trying to stabilize through Shadowy Duel. It's 1 versus 1, and Relza drops a barrier. He's scared that Waz will win this one-on-one, but now there's no barrier for Smoke Bomb. Kasu is an open target. Relza's getting interrupted. He's getting controlled. Ring of Frost gets disrupted. Polymorph gets stopped, but there's a full kidney shot. Tessia's getting blasted at the same time. Will Kasu be able to survive this attack? Looks like he's going to make it out of the stun lock, so he at least has aspect of the turtle. But 1 big crit, 1 accidental mistimed global could cost him his life here on match point. Rapture comes through, big heals, Kasu recovers. Now that Horizon have recovered, they need to get aggressive. They're swapping back to Waz, trying to force him away and get an evasion, but they're not finding the evasion. They're trying to scatter, they're trying to spread out. Tony and Kasu and Relza to avoid crowd control. And Tony's a little bit too close right now. They stun Waz. They're trying to blast him down. Relza's avoiding the engagement. They knock them away, but Chaz walks into a trap. With that full trap, can they get pressure? Kidney shot on Kasu. Combustion available. Are they going to rip out the combustion? Ring of Fire is down. Down to half health. Kasu feign death. Trying to get out of the Ring of Fire, but he's so low. He has to turtle. An aspect of the turtle. No pain suppression. Method EU have great control of game number 6.
I mean, this looks so good for them. I mean, Horizon, they just need to kind of hold on and wait for Method EU to overcommit. A little bit of damage on Tessia right now. Full trap on Chaz. They can win in a single setup if Relza gets there. They have Mass Dispel. Keep that in mind. So even if Tessia gets the Ice Block off, they can Mass Dispel it. Trap into a Fear. Here comes Waz trying to save the day. Cheap shot on Relza. Cheap shot on Kasu. Tessia is silenced right now, unfortunately for him. Or he could go for the Dragon's Breath Sheep. He might get it anyways, and he does. There it is. A Polymorph on Relza.
Oh,
Kasu incredibly low.
dead.
He needs to be very careful. Relza trades out his trinket, but now look, Waz has his blind. He get blind. he could just close out the game. Should they wait for the stuns? I feel like they should. Just wait for the stun DR. It's going to be a combustion. He gets ripped out by Tessia, just trying to get the damage. A full kidney shot into a potential full blind. There it is.
They reconnected.
Casu's on the run. Method EU, they reconnect. Can they take him down? Tony, do
1 second left.
onto a cyclone.
Got it.
Casu barely able to maybe hold on. He's got sacrifice. They can't crit him, so he's very durable right now, but I don't think
1
it's enough.
second left.
Method EU,
1
they're so
second
close.
left.
One Radiance lands.
The
Rapid
shower
for
took my
Relta,
way.
and Casu survives. Can he survive much longer? Chaz goes for
A
a cyclone
full
on
kidney?
Casu. No, a kidney. It's never ending.
Never-ending nightmare right now for Relza. How on earth is Casu alive? This Waz is gonna die.
Bullshit.
Zico, I can't believe this.
This is unreal right now. They do survive. That was absolutely insane. Waz actually walked the pet back into that Ring of Frost. That's the damage that kind of started this entire thing. And guess what? Tessia has his combustion back off cooldown. The next setup, he got nothing on the side of Horizon. 10 seconds left on that turtle. And Casu here, he needs it super badly here. Can he get away? He's gonna need it. That War of oh my God! Look at Casu here. He actually feigned deaths clean and just stealths. He's like, you know what? I'm not playing. He's just gonna stay here in stealth, and he's just gonna chill until he has a trinket. If somebody on his stream has something, he's just gonna be invisible right now, chilling in that corner over there, walking across the map, looking for Chaz. Maybe looking to get a cheeky attack here.
Ooh.
That's now this. He goes out of stealth, but it might be too late. Start. Tony's so low. Tony survives. He gets the Roar of Sacrifice. Is it going to be enough? I cannot believe it. Casu runs away, forces them to go after Tony, and that will mean that Casu gets to survive, gets his aspect of the turtle back, and he will survive. But that also means that Tony now is an insanely exposed target, Super Tees.
Full kidney shot on Casu. Smoke bomb on match point. Damage launched forward. 3 seconds away. 2 seconds away from aspect of the turtle. Casu now has defensives. Relza's working with 0 mana. Horizon are on a short clock on match point. The crowd control is endless. Trying to take down Waz. Ironbark denies the kill. Now they swap back to Tessia. Trying to blast him. He blocked aggressively earlier on. Perhaps they still have a chance to take him out. Tony is assisting Casu throughout the polymorphs on Relza. Casu holds on by a thread. He snipes a freezing trap around the corner, but he is so dangerously low, and Relza has 0 mana left. I don't think he can even press a Radiance at this point. He's trying his best to get mana back, tossing out the masks from the Night Fae, doing whatever he can. Waz gets stunned up, and he pre-feints the stun. Maybe it won't matter, but they blind Tony. No trinket. Triple crowd control with no trinket on Tony. A full sap out. Relza's just waiting for Casu, and he manages to turtle just in time. And Relza is actually regenerating mana amidst all of this crowd control. He's going to be able to Radiance a couple more times throughout this fight, potentially hold his team together. He's got pain suppression as well for one more go. Waz has no trinket, and he died last game with no trinket. Can they take Waz out here? Chaz gets speared on his trinket. Horizon are doing the unbelievable. How is this possible? Waz on 10%. He goes down. Casu snipes him and brings us to game 7.
Oh,
Are
no.
you kidding me? Are you
Look at
kidding
the
me? Both
reactions
of them can't believe it.
from
Waz is
both
like,
of
how
these
are they
guys.
living so long? Casu, I mean, there was a moment in that game where Relza went into a full kidney shot, into a full blind, into a full polymorph, into a cyclone, into a kidney shot, and the hunter didn't die. Like, how is it possible? I mean, I know Method can't believe it, but Horizon, I mean, in this situation, I tell you right now, if you're a player in this situation, you are much happier to be Horizon. I mean, it's a tied series, but you've won the last 3 in a row. Method has been saying, we're 1 away. All right, guys, we're 1 away. We got 3 chances. Okay, we're 1 away. We got 2 chances. All right, we're 1 away. We've got 1 chance left. And that is a lot of pressure. You do not want to get reverse sweeped in a situation like this in the grand finals. I mean, we could take a look at the replay.
Ooh.
This was such a good game.
This is the moment. Look at this. Look at this. Look at what Waz does here. Tessia's gonna drop a Ring of Frost. Look at Waz. He just drags the pet into it, and then they just send the spell book. Relza, immediate trinket. Casu, immediate feign death. Resheep on the trinket. More damage rolling in, and this is where they get that big opportunity. Relza gets roared here, or he might have just had enough damage. Honestly, here you still have combustion rolling. You maybe just send the blind, but they decide to wait. They trinket. They get the kidney shot. And Tessia is continuing the chain. They get a full bash cyclone onto Tony, into a full blind onto Relza. Tony trinkets, gets Cyclone on his trinket. Kazu is getting farmed by the Ring of Fire, and he actually jumps over the Ring of Fire right there to get a sheep out of the blind into a resheep, into a DR Cyclone, into a triple DR Cyclone, into a, I believe, a kidney shot, no, into a Shadowy Duel, into a DR sheep, into another DR sheep, into a kidney, into Kazu just the replay literally ended while I still CC'd. But yeah, you guys saw it. He died right there, and then here, of course, I believe this is towards the later stages of the game where Kazu, he has nothing. He's just like, the only person with CDs on my team is going to be Tony, and I'm just going to sit here in stealth. He comes out, Roar of Sacrifice right there onto Tony here. There, actually, that was a really late roar. And Tony survives just with the auto frenzy, of course, even though it is every single CD in the game from the RMP or from the RMD. Tony gets Cyclone, survives that one. And then here's another setup. This is the one where they force out a chest trinket, I believe. Or no, this is where they shackle Kazu. He aspects of the turtle. Chaz goes in. They get the DR sheep here, and this is where they turn it around onto what actually happened to Chaz's trinket here. So what does Chaz trinket? Because right now it doesn't look scary at all. He doesn't have trinket, but he does have evasion to work with and Cloak of Shadows. So Chaz, I believe he gets stunned here into a freezing trap, and I think he trinkets the trap here. And Tessa tries to eat it, but he trinkets out. Waz is stunned. He has no trinket. He gets feared 0.1 on his trinket into the shackle. And Waz cloaks the shackle, pops the evasion, kidney shots Tony, but it's just too much damage. He dies actually from behind there. Kazu goes behind him because you can't dodge with evasion. I mean, you can't dodge in general if the person is hitting you from behind. So Kazu actually sneaks up behind him and just stabs him to death there.
I don't think my heart can take much more of this. My gosh, this is just absolutely wild. Horizon, they've come back from the dead. They started up 3-0 3 games ago, and now they've tied it up. They could potentially be reverse sweeping Method EU. Horizon 3-3 right now against Method EU, and this game or this series could not be any more intense, any more close. I know we all predicted Horizon to win this one. And I think somebody was mentioning earlier about the momentum, but I feel like Method EU, they still have a shot to try and win this one, but it's really hard, I feel like, when you're coming off the back of 3 really stressful losses like that, Ben.
It definitely is. I mean, it's a tough spot to be in, but if you're Waz, if you're Method EU, you know, you're Chaz, you're playing these games, you just have to remember how close these games have been. Yeah. I mean, we're seeing this hunter survive at 10% health over and over and over, game after game after game. A hero swap on Tony, and he somehow lives at 5% health. It's ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, both these teams are playing a phenomenal series. It's back and forth. You're seeing some of the best players, you're seeing the best players in the game play, you know, some of the best compositions, and we really could not ask for a better finals. This is what WoW dreams are made of, and I don't know what's going to happen in this game number 7. One thing's for sure, Horizon has a lot of momentum in these last 3 games, but Method EU is not out of it. It's not like they're playing bad. They're playing phenomenal, and I mean, they are so close to getting that win, but they only have one more shot.
God, I can't even imagine how frustrating that must be to be in that situation. You know, on the side of Method EU, you get yourself on match point, and you're only 1 win away, and you just keep losing, and you keep losing, and you keep losing, and you're making your chances of winning this series even, you know, harder and harder as the games go by. And on the other note, Kazu, I don't think I've ever seen him look so stressed out as well on camera. Like, he's usually pretty stoic, but at the, you know, especially at the end of that last game, he kind of just like cupped his hands around his mouth and just like took a deep breath, because you can tell that he's really going through some emotions right now. He's just taking a little breather before they head into this game after they just locked in their composition. But we are headed to Tolvaron. A minute left for Method EU to choose their composition. This is the last game of the European region for Season 2. The winner of this very next one on Tolvaron is going to determine who our European championship is, and you can bet both of these players are feeling like they're in a very tough spot right now, Zico.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, This is probably the most nerve-wracking thing you can be in. Either you're going to get second or you're going to get first, and it's all decided off of one game, and it's the most volatile matchup as well. So all of these players definitely feeling the pressure right now. And for Method EU, I mean, what a story if they manage to come back and be one game away from being last place, qualifying here, barely making it almost, and winning the entire year, right? That's an incredible story for them. But also Horizon, a team that really struggled and finally found their footing this season and had a phenomenal run in the circuit, had a phenomenal run so far in the tournament, to bring it back here against this final boss that is Method EU's RMD. This is Method's map pick, of course, as well, Tolveron Arena, so they have that advantage that they got to select the map here. But the last 3 games they've lost. However, they did win the first 4, or the first 3. So technically, they know what needs to be done. They just need to do it a little bit better, or a little bit, get a little bit more damage in when it matters. Just get a little bit luckier. And for Horizon, they definitely have some momentum going in. And I don't know what's more important now, the map or the momentum, because I don't know. I think you'd be a little bit tilted if you're on Method right now, where you had 3 games where the Hunter is like 1% HP 3 times, and the stun ends and he gets his turtle off, or the stun ends and he gets his exil heal off, and you got to be a little bit frustrated at that point. And I couldn't blame them. So definitely, I think mental advantage for Horizon here, and also for Method. They played. They played the whole day.
Game 5, game 5
has been
7.
a game 5. Yeah, they've played more games than they did the whole season today. So, for Method,
so true.
I
mean, yeah.
We've been live for
exhausted.
4 hours and 37 minutes, and every single game has been them. So
Yeah.
they're almost up to 5 hours of the most intense World of Warcraft arena you could play. Right, every single game, tournament lives on the line. I mean, this is the grand finals that they've been working for all year. I mean, I'll tell you right now, mental fatigue definitely starts setting in, but they need to get up, jump around, slap themselves in the face, anything they can to wake up, because this is their last chance. Horizon's trying to take it away from them, and we'll see if they can do it. I mean, they positioned themselves quite nicely going up in the series 3-0, but somehow Horizon, they just keep holding on. They keep battling back. They keep surviving these setups, and Method EU, like we said, it's frustrating, but you just gotta put your best foot forward and try to pull off a win, because this is their last chance.
Yeah, it most certainly is. Emotions are running high right now for both of these teams. I think we've got a little bit of a delay going on behind the scenes. Maybe one of the teams has used their delay timer. I don't blame them either, frankly. This is both of their last chances to try and win this tournament, and everything is really going to count right now. What's up, Sid?
You remember the old strats, Ven, where like if you won a game, you'd go take a break and go backstage and go like take a break and just mess with them and let them still in their loss and their defeat. Like if I was Horizon and I had delay time, I would just delay just to tilt Method even further. So like
this is Horizon's delay.
This is Horizon's
It is
100%. This is the move you make. Is like when you win a game, you use delay, because the other team, when they've lost, is just like, should have done this better. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. We could have done this better. Why didn't he die? This could have been better. Like you're just leaving them in their own little hectic situation after playing the entire day. And Horizon can just be like, yep, we're just gonna chill. This is exactly what you do. Like this is actually experience. Like I think a lot of teams don't consider this. It's like the tilt factor. Like
the mind
use
games,
your break time to like. I mean, maybe they actually do need a break. It's easily possible that they actually just need to go to the bathroom or something. But there's the added bonus of using your delay time when you win, using your delay time just to let the other team sit in their tilt.
We did that. I did that with Snuts and Sea-Doo actually at a BlizzCon. After every single game, we just take a break, walk away from the keyboards. But I mean, at the same time, you can talk about what went right, what went wrong. Even if you're winning, there's always an opportunity to improve. And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Horizon has won the last 3 games, but you know, a crit could be the difference between winning and losing with how close these games have been.
Well, we're going to find out soon enough what that difference is going to be, Ven. It is game number 7 here in the grand finals for the AWC European Season 2. Winner of this game will determine who our champion is for this region. It's Horizon versus Method EU.
All right, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. The final game for Europe. And it is going to be, like you just mentioned, Aya, Horizon going up against Method, 3-3. Method won the first 3. Horizon won the last 3. One more game will crown our champion. We got the Rogue Mage with the Sub-Rogue.
They found him!
Jungle. Tessia finds Tony. Are they going to go on to Tony here? That is the question. They're thinking about it. They don't have too many other options. I mean, you could just poke Tony and get rid of his Fleshcraft here for free, and then potentially open up onto Tony. Tony, realizing this, doesn't maybe want to get too aggressive here unless they want to set something up onto Tessia. It actually looks like they do. Casu moves in, but Waz might find him. He saps him. Oh, on the opener, he gets the sap. This is huge for Method. Chas links in, gets feared though. Tessia now going for the Dragon's Breath here. Potentially, he's waiting for the Premonition. He gets the double DB, gets kicked on the Ring of Frost. He should be able to get the Sheep though. Sheep Shot comes out. No Sheep to be found here from Tessia. Tony interrupts it, and that is going to shut down the setup for now here for Method. Chas now had to use his Trinket there, so actually early advantage in favor of Horizon.
I can't believe Horizon got through that without using big cooldowns. Like, you find the Feral Druid, you sap the Hunter. Man, Horizon, they if they can stay alive like that, man, maybe they can do anything. Chaz is chasing Relza behind the pillar. He pre-fleshcrafts the Fear, trying to get crowd control on Relza to wait and see if he waited. Now Casu is stunned up, triple crowd control, big combustion onto Casu. Is he going to be able to survive throughout it? Looks like he will. And they still haven't used any medallions. This is a great position to be in with combustion out of the way. They can get aggressive absolutely for free. Tony's even attacking Chaz behind the pillar, really adding insult to injury. Relza is chasing down Chaz, looking for a Psychic Scream. There's no Trinket. Waz is isolated, but they actually just pull Casu behind the pillar. They're trying to kill Chaz. In game number 7, they're just mixing it up and going after Chaz. Why Horizon are going all in. They get Barkskin from him with no Trinket, but now Casu is on the back foot, stunned up. They might regret it. He trades that Exhilaration. He's so critically low. He manages to feign death off the shackle. Relza sits through a full blind, trying to recover towards the tail end of it. I can't believe, man, that was a bold move by Horizon to go after Chaz right there. They don't get the kill. They still hold on to some pretty important cooldowns, but a swap to Tony with no Trinket, if they can poke off that Fleshcraft, could be a big threat.
Yeah, you know what ultimately kept him alive too is a shadowy duel from Waz on Casu, completely negating the damage. Casu using Feign Death, giving himself a huge shield, but Waz is still there. An aspect of the turtle needs to be connected. Great peels there by Tony, but Casu was not wanting to throw the game there. Better safe than sorry in that regard. Casu will ultimately survive. Horizon hold on. Very back and forth between these two teams. Tessia doing a great job. I mean, you get the Polymorph set on the Hunter. It's a great way to just slow down the game in between your diminishing returns. And now that that's over, you just go after Casu. Relza's got his Trinket available. He's got his Rapture, his Pain Suppression, but it looks like Casu's okay.
Waz!
He trades out the Roar Sacrifice. Actually, Waz going down very, very fast. Forced to trade out his Battalion. And this is a checkmate situation potentially. I mean, Horizon, they get the Trinket from Chaz. They get the Trinket from Waz. They have nothing left. If they can get a stun lock on Waz and any CC on Chaz, this could just be Horizon walking away with a reverse sweep. Let's see if they can do it.
Yeah, but they don't have Roar of Sacrifice, and Tessia has Combustion. Let's see, can he get the Sheep? And there it is, he's sending it. Relza immediately Trinkets, gets down on his Trinket. Do they have any more CC? That's the question. It doesn't look like it. The Pain Suppression should be enough to deflect here, but they were able to get Relza's Trinket here. That is very, very crucial here. But now Waz needs to stay alive here. He has no Trinket, and neither does Chaz. All they need is just a trap onto Chaz, and then Relza can just blink in with a Soul Shape into a full Fear, and they can secure it right now. Preemptive Barrier gets dropped by Relza. Both of these teams definitely trying to outplay.
This is it!
There it is. This is the setup. Waz, how are you going to survive this one? Full stun into full stun into a kill. And Casu cannot believe it. Horizon have done it. They're gonna win 4 in a row and reverse sweep Method EU in the grand finals. The curse of Aya holds strong.
Hey.
This is I want to say this is a historic moment. I feel like it's been so long since a team has been able to kind of break the status quo in Europe, it's always Method, it's always skill capped, and Horizon has showed up in a huge way. They had an absolutely phenomenal year, and here they come into the top 4. They basically beat everyone. They beat Method, they beat skill cap, they beat Method again.